What is up? It is your homie, your friend, Damian Howard here with another segment of Village Talks, a space that we have curated that is all oriented around education and or inspiration for those of us who care about the service of young people. Every segment allows me to invite in a partner, a new person within my ecosystem, specifically mentors or mentor organization leaders who once more really care about youth development and have a story to share and a narrative that we can learn from and be inspired by. So today, towards that end, we have Mark Hudson in this space. You all see it in his background. 100 Black Men is an organization that he is all about, and he's going to help us to learn more of. So, Mark, jump in there. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Love to be in this space and always love to talk about the work of the 100. My name is Mark Hudson. I am an educator, mentor. I was an elementary school teacher, middle school, high school, elementary school principal for, um, I can't even count the years. I don't even know now, but a long time. And now I work. Actually, now I work at a juvenile correctional center in Richmond, Virginia. Um, and I've been with the 100 for about 5 years. This is my fourth year as the mentoring vice president. And so that's what brings me to this space to talk about our mentoring program and just the passion and dedication we have as an organization to those to our four core pillars, but specifically about what we're doing in Virginia.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot to kind of build on based on what you shared, but I want to start here. We're in a political climate, whereas when you start talking about black men and y'all trying to help black boys or boys of color, that potentially could compromise you all's ability to get funding and resources in order to execute your mission. So, what I would love to hear you talk a little bit more about, Mark, is in this political climate and day and age that we're in, why do you all remain committed to the mantra of 100 black men?
Well, our mission is to improve the community and to enhance education and economic empowerment for African Americans. That's the core mission of the organization. That's not going to change because it's important work. And but that doesn't make us, but we're still inclusive. So because the community is us and we are the community, it also includes young ladies. We have young ladies in our mentoring circle. We have people of other ethnic backgrounds in our mentoring circle. So the name is what it is, the mission is what it is. It will continue to be that, but it doesn't exclude others from experiencing what we have to offer.
So, 100 Black Men, if I understand correctly, is a national, maybe even international organization.
It
What is
is.
unique? What is unique about what y'all are doing there in the Hampton, Virginia area?
So I think one of the things that are unique is what I've just mentioned, that we offer services to young ladies, and we're one of the few organizations that offer that mentoring experience for young ladies. And one of our biggest reasons for doing that is because as young men, they need to know how to interact with young ladies. And we see that as a problem in society, where we mistreat our young ladies, sometimes misunderstand our young ladies, almost all the time. But you know, we offer that space where we have interactions between young ladies and young men that are productive, that are socially acceptable, and that helps build respect and connection there. I think around the country and internationally, 100 Black Men mentoring groups are doing similar work. And we look at growing individuality. We look at growing strength among young people. always about scholarship and self-improvement. So I think our region in the Hampton, Newport News Peninsula area, our region is rich with history. Our region is rich with opportunity. Um, so I don't know if it will be unique when I look around the country at the other programs, but I think it's definitely up there with one of the top programs.
Yeah, no, that's so good to hear. My wife was recently making me, because she's just like I don't know what I call her, a detective or an investigator, but she's just always finding new facts. I know what it is. It's her profession. She's a realtor, so she's always kind
Okay.
of doing real estate oriented research for her clients. So I think she's just kind of wired like that. And at one point, she wanted to go to law school. So I just think she has that in her. But anyway, whew, that's a lot of words for me to get to this point. She recently was sharing some type of editorial with me that was talking about like the top five historically black colleges and universities
Mm,
that are top of the list as far as getting kids employed and getting the other graduates employed and getting them employed in like favorable companies. And when I say favorable, like what are the ones that not only get you hired but get you high income opportunities
right.
straight out of college? And Hampton was one of the ones that was top five.
Mm.
So knowing that you're in that area near that particular college institution. I would love for you, be it Hampton or other collegiate institutions, talk about what is the connection point with 100 Black men to colleges? What is you all's impact there, and or how are you leveraging colleges like Hampton and or others in service to the young people that you all care about?
Okay. First of all, I'm a Howard grad, so I don't want to talk a whole lot about Hampton. But, but we just recently started a Collegiate 100
Mark,
chapter.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but Howard for sure was on that list as well. So I just wanted to
Oh,
call that
oh,
out.
for sure. I didn't even have to say that. For sure, it was on that list. If it wasn't on the top, something was wrong with the list.
I hear you, brother.
Um, but yeah, so we've partnered with we have a few members who actually work at Hampton University. So they were instrumental, along with our president, Darren Spencer, with starting a collegiate 100, which is um, young people on campus partner with us, and they help with our mentoring, and but they also work within the campus community and the broader community, do community service. So our connection with Hampton is new, but is growing rapidly with that Collegiate 100. And honestly, at this point, they do more for us than we do for them, because the young people who come over, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, talking to our mentees is a much more powerful statement than a 58-year-old or a 38-year-old having those same conversations. They serve as that model for them, and they can relate to them in a whole different level, as you could imagine.
Yeah, as I can imagine, and as I've seen, right, as now myself, a 42-year-old, right, that just feels oftentimes disconnected
Hmm.
as far as being able to share some things that I think intrigues them and that they know about. My daughter all the time starts telling me how lame I am when I try to use jargon that I think is on point, and she's like, "Nah, Dad, don't say that again ever in your life." And I'm like, "Okay." So, Mark, with your vast array of experiences impacting young people as an educator, as an administrator, and now serving the justice system, what do you think is one of the like main barriers that we need to solve for as interventionists to make sure that young people thrive?
Man, it's so many. It's such a multifaceted question, but when I think about young people, they're way smarter than we were. They have way more information than I had and even my kids had. Um, I think the problem is they didn't have to do anything. They get the information instantly. They hit a button, they click something and they get the information. So I think what the result is that that internal agency is kind of almost a false sense of being capable. I do know, but they didn't have to work to get it. So are we teaching perseverance? Are we teaching resilience? Is there a is there a failure by a success by failure kind of mentality? Um, so when that doesn't translate into the real world, then that's when we run into those barriers. Getting information and the outcome of getting information versus the process of gaining information or gaining skills. I think that becomes what we see when young people shut down when they're not successful or they don't know another route when the one that they picked didn't work out the way they wanted to. So, um, it becomes a situation where, hey, go ahead and fail. Go ahead and struggle. That productive struggle is what builds character.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because I sometimes start feeling that like the education system and the way we're going about schooling feels antiquated, it feels old, and it feels non-productive. I
Mm,
think of even some of the challenges that my daughter was uniquely faced with transitioning from eighth grade to high school. And a lot of
yeah.
it was literally, and she said this herself, was oriented around the fact that she's like, Dad, I don't know how to study. And the reason she doesn't know how to study is because she's never had to. And
Right.
a part of me, and I'm an educator myself, but a part of me starts looking at that system and saying, does my daughter really need to know these biological terms and prove a level of competency in this, that's requiring for her after volleyball practice and making it home at 10 to stay up 2 additional hours to study for this test? And
Hmm.
and I don't know. I go through my own thinking about just contemporary education and are there better ways for us to do it? But if nothing else, thinking of my own child and how she has to persevere and how she has to endure some challenging situations that she would not
Right.
be faced with if she was not in an educational environment or at least an environment that she's in, that would be limiting, some character development that she's getting exposed to. That would be limiting some of the opportunities for her to actually know what's inside of her and what she could do with some hard work. That's going to be transferable skills in all of life. So, yeah, that's just really fascinating listening to you in that moment because it helped me as a dad to be a little bit more informed as it pertains to what really school is about beyond just the content. It's that character development, like you said, that grit that comes when they got to struggle through these academic concepts and things presented to them. So no, I love that. I love that a lot. So
Yeah.
I think we're at a part right now, since with the last question that I asked, if you had a magic wand and you had the ability to impact positive change for young people, for community, leveraging this wand however you want to, what are you going to use this magic wand to do?
Oh my goodness. I mean, for our organization, that magic wand um, would extend our tentacles into the community so that we are um, able to impact more with the mentoring is there, that's solid. Um, Health and wellness is a major pillar, and that's, physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, social emotional wellness. Um, and economic empowerment. We everybody says they're an entrepreneur at some point in life. Um, but are we working towards that? Are we going to college to be entrepreneurs? Are we going to work for somebody, learning to help our money work sensibly? So those are the kinds of things that if I had a magic wand, our organization would help with. And you know, the back to what you were saying about education, the personal development of young people is key. And we have a large mentoring cohort, but I would use that magic wand to try to figure out how we can partner with more schools, more community-based organizations to help with that self-development of young people. I think kids hear about school all the time. They're in school all day, and then they hear about school the rest of the time. How are you doing in school? What are your grades like? You see them on the weekend. How was school this week? How are your grades? And they spend a lot of time either being in school, talking about school, doing homework. What are you going to do with your life? But it's like what we teach our young people, we have two major components of our program. One is the essential six. So that's your family, your friends, your finances, your freedom, your future, and your faith. Um, and those are the things that influence your decisions. And then the other part is a circle. So you talk about circle of friends, circle, but our circle has meaning. So it's connection, it's inclusion, it's respect, it's compassion, it's love, and it's empowerment. So what we want to do is not really focus on what they want to be, or we want to focus on who they want to be. What kind of person are you going to be? And that's more important than what you want to be. So um, my wand would kind of wrap all these young people up and say, you know, let's develop as human beings before we start thinking about what we want to be, what college we want to go to, um, or if we want to go to college. You run into so many people who are doing things because someone told them that's what they're supposed to do. Going to this college because that's where I'm supposed to go. Um, but so many of them don't really have a passion for what they are doing. So they end up doing. I was a business major, ended up in education, and I was a business major because I went to school in 1985, and that's what you did. Everybody was going to be on Wall Street and run the world from Wall Street. So yeah, that's that's a long answer to your question, but that's our passion. That's what we work towards in our program.
So I feel like we took a lot of time talking about some really cool things, yet and still we did not take enough time to learn specifically about 100 Black men. And I know that you are one of the key leaders in your region for the mentoring program. So invite us into the 100 Black men space. What is the org all about? Why do you care about it? Because again, you have a whole full-time job and you
Mm,
don't necessarily have to be spending your time with this
mm.
organization, but you choose to invite us in into what 100 Black Men is all about.
Well, so I'm gonna go back to um, the village. This is the village talk, and when I think about the village, I can relate that to what the men that I interact with and the men that interact with the young people. We have our OGs, our elders that, are 80, 90 years old, just imparting wisdom. And we have, the wannabe OGs, the unks like me who are, you know, on both sides. I'm soaking up that knowledge and I'm trying to give it to the young people. So I think when you talk about 100 Black men, um, we're so diverse with our um, connections with each other. We have certainly fraternity members in our organization, so they have connections here and there. We have different professions. So with the pillars of education, mentoring, economic empowerment, and health and wellness, we can impact a large range of community issues. Um, so it becomes a kind of a dashboard, so to speak, of people who just are connected in so many different ways. So, um, but the work is centered around mentoring, and that's where we see most of it. So that's my magic wand. Would like to see those other things operate. But there, I mean, there are plenty of great organizations that are doing work. You got 200 plus men. Of course, fraternities and sororities are out here doing great work. So we're just one of many that do great work in the community. Um, but we're one that, you don't have to pledge to be a part of. You don't have to, you just have to be interested. You have to be committed. And that becomes the draw, and that becomes the reason why we're so diverse and so widespread throughout the country.
A little black boy walked into you all session and sees you and keeps seeing you and the others that show up in the room. What do you think that does for these boys that keep getting exposed to, you said, the OGs and the unks, and I'm probably in the unk category, big bros, you know what I mean, that just keep showing up for them. Like, what do you think that's doing to the mindset, the psyche of these boys, seeing you all and experiencing you all so frequently?
And there's it's something that you can't really measure. And I think what it does for them is to say, hey, somebody's here. And but our families are so diverse, and that's the other thing. I think people look at mentoring as, they kind of stereotype, or they have this profile of a mentee, which may be a single parent home, um, maybe impoverished, maybe struggling socially and behaviorally, but that's not it. So we serve everybody, and we literally have all kinds of kids in our organization, in our program. So yeah, it does a lot for them to come in and see young people. I mean, see the mentees, the mentors in there showing up for them, but it also does a lot for them to see each other um, as peers, as role models. We have older kids because, and I another thing that makes our program unique is most programs don't start the kids as young as we do. We start our kids at 8, so they go from 8 to 18. Most programs start 13, 14 years old. So we get to see our young people, if they stay with us, grow over a 7, 8, 9 year, 10-year period. So I think what it does for them, it gives them stability. It gives them a sense of someone being there for them, commitment, just to know that, hey, I walk in the door, whether I want to be here or not, Dr. Hudson's going to be here, and Mr. Spencer's going to be here, and these people are going to be here, and they may not want to hear what I have to say today, um, but we also see that when they come back, and when they get older, they appreciate it, and they remember the lessons. They remember the listening. I just listened to you. I didn't try to tell you anything. I'm just listening to what you say, because they do tell us about not feeling seen, not feeling heard. And we offer them a safe space. You can say what you need to say. I'm not going to run tell your mom or your dad, unless you say something that you're going to hurt yourself, or something going on. But we're not going to tell. We're just going to listen, and we're going to do the best we can. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super powerful. And what I will say, Brother Hudson, it's really been great meeting you and learning more about 100 Black Men, and specifically, again, the iteration of the work that's happening in Hampton, Virginia, by way of meeting you today. We learned a little something. So thank you so much for that. I want to give you the floor, that if there are any parting words that you might want to share, Any additional insights as far as, yeah, thoughts that you might want to express as you think of this concept of village, as you just think more broadly about where youth are in 2026? Yeah, I just want to make sure that if there is anything else that you had top of mind to cover that we did not have an opportunity to get to, sir, you have the final word.
Well, thank you for that. Well, I want to first thank you for giving me this platform to celebrate the 100 and the work we're specifically doing in Virginia at the Virginia Peninsula chapter. Um, I think my final word about young people would just be, you know, it's important that they develop as people, and that's number one. Uh, what they're going to be when they grow up, um, what profession they're going to have, where they're going to live, how much money, like all that stuff is will come. But the important part for our young people, especially in this um, highly politicized, highly socialized, highly digital society, is that they become complete people, and that we recognize them as people, and not students, not um, children, but they're people, and we need to address them as that and recognize their uniqueness.
Ah, I love that so much. I love that so much. So, if people want to contact you or get in touch with you specifically at your chapter or 100 Black Men in general, where would they go for that?
They could go to 100 Black Men. Well, they can look up Virginia Peninsula, 100 Black Men Virginia Peninsula chapter. Our website is 100bmva.org. So
Okay.
once again, 100bmva.org. Um, and from that, they can reach out and they can contact the chapter through the contact page. And they can donate if they feel if they
That's what's
feel
up.
compelled to do so.
Yes, sir. It takes funds to make all of this stuff sustain
Absolutely.
and for the work to keep working. So I
Right.
totally appreciate the opportunity to call out donations as an important piece as well.
Right.
So, Brother Mark, that's the end of our segment. Thank you for really honoring that space of the final word to give us that last nugget of encouragement and education. Just super appreciative for how you're showing up in support of young people and guests. This has been another Village Talk segment. I hope that you all were as delighted as I to learn more about Mark Hudson and the work that he's doing with 100 Black Men and just about 100 Black Men in general. All right, y'all. Listen, that's the end of this segment, and we will see y'all next time. All right, peace out.